If you're feeling confused, lost, stuck in your spiritual journey, then in this podcast episode, I will provide 3 or 4 things that have helped me whenever I have been in the same place of confusion. So, number one is that know that confusion is a good thing. It means that you are making progress. And before, I used to get very frustrated when I was confused with something. For example, one of the things that has confused me a lot is that if life is an illusion, if this is just a game, then am I supposed to not do anything and not care about anything? And the answer is no. I still play the game of life, but I play it less seriously. I play it like a game. I still do my actions and I still care about my loved ones and still care about things that I want to do, but just with a little less seriousness, a little more joy, and less attachment to the outcome. So this has been one of the things that confuses me. But then the more you grow, there's just more and more paradoxes in this in this journey of spiritual growth. So paradoxes like, yes, I'm supposed to do the work and take action, but at the same time, how do I not attach myself to the outcome? How do I have goals and yet be detached with whether I achieve them or not? So whenever I am confused, I know that this is a sign of growth. Having more questions means I am growing. So embrace confusion as a good thing because it is confusion that allows us to have clarity and aha moments. If we weren't confused, how will we get to that place of clarity? So it's kind of like yin and yang, right? You have to be in the dark to appreciate light when it comes. So that would be my first recommendation, to embrace confusion instead of being frustrated by confusion and questioning your spiritual growth and thinking, oh, maybe I don't get this. Just embrace confusion as yet another element of your journey. And know that if you are in confusion right now, that means the clarity will come soon. And the second thing that has helped me, the second mindset, is that this is a lifelong journey, maybe even multiple lifetimes. So I have to have patience. All the answers are not going to come to me instantly. I need to go through these phases of confusion and have the patience, have the faith that the right answer will come to me at the right moment. They say when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and the teacher could be in the form of anything, a book, a podcast, anything. But I do believe that your best teacher, your best guru is you yourself. And I'm going to talk more about this in just a bit. But having the patience is key, and not being in a rush to get all your answers right away. Sometimes we need to go through certain life experiences to be able to understand the answer, to be able to ready for that moment of clarity and aha moment. So have patience would be my second tip. And the third thing I want to say is, and this is a mistake that I have made in the past, whenever I was confused about some concept, spiritual concept, I would try to find the answers intellectually through books, through podcasts. If I'm listening to, let's say, one teacher and I'm confused about something, I would be like, okay, let me see what this other teacher says about this concept and try to fill in the gaps in my knowledge. But I was doing all that on the level of the mind. I was thinking I can solve my confusion just by reading or listening and only at the level of the mind. And this was a mistake because you can't find all the answers at the level of the mind. You have to go from the mind into the heart or the soul. And what that means is you have to do the work. Only reading, only listening to talks is not going to give you the answers. And like I said before, you are your own best teacher. So, how do you find the answers that are within you? You do that by doing the inner work, by going inside. It could be by meditating, by journaling, self reflection. But try not to use reading books and listening to talks and videos as an escape from doing the actual work. And I'm saying this because I have done this myself. I have fallen into the trap of, one more spiritual podcast or one more YouTube video. Let me listen to this person. Let me listen to that person. Oh, maybe this book has the answer that I'm looking for. I have fallen into that trap myself, but I have learned from experience that the answers that come from personal experience, and I say experience because it's something you experience when you're sitting in silence, when you're meditating, or maybe when you're taking a walk in nature, journaling, or sometimes even just life experience. The answers that come from doing all this inner work, which is done not from the mind, but by going into the body. It could be through breathing. It could be through all these other practices that I just suggested. The answers that come through that will be way more profound, will be way more bigger, and will be way more truer for you because they came from within you. So I wish I knew this earlier, but that's okay. Everybody has their own journey. I had to make my own mistakes to get to this clarity, that I had to make the journey from the head to the heart. They say, I think there's a quote which says that the longest journey in life is the 1 foot journey, or 18 inches, something like that. That's from your head to your heart. And I have been a person who is very, very in her head, analytical, logical. I come from an engineering background as well. So I feel that now I'm definitely, maybe not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, I am able to use my heart instead of my head. And there's nothing wrong with using the head. I want to be clear. I still use my head. I still need my brain to organize my family's schedule, to organize, my to-do list and everything. The brain is still a very, very important, integral part of my life. But in areas like spiritual growth, I am learning to act from my heart and my intuition more and less from my head. So these are my thoughts on what to do when you are confused about your spiritual growth. And I will give you one example. I listen to Michael Singer's talks a lot these days. And there have been times where he would say something in his talks and I would not understand it, or I would disagree with it, or I would just have some sort of resistance. Like, yeah, easy for you to say this, but I'm so far away from this state of Shakti flow, energy flow that you're describing. So I would feel resistance. But a lot of this confusion or disagreement, it got resolved by actually doing the work. So there have been times in meditation where I had aha moments of, oh, that's what he meant when he was saying this. So had I just stayed at the level of the mind and intellectualizing and theorizing all these things, I would not have been able to get to that moment of clarity and understanding and that confusion fading away had I just stayed at the level of the mind. But by doing the work, which was through meditation for me, I was able to arrive at clarity, and some of those concepts that confused me a lot got resolved. And I'm still a work in progress. I still go through confusion. For example, my recent confusion that has bothered me is that I'm on a path of learning to surrender, and I have been able to surrender in a few areas of my life. For example, this podcast, I think I am, for the most part, able to surrender and act from a place of non-attachment to results, and just kind of flow with how things are instead of trying too hard, getting attached to the outcome, and letting fear and anxiety drive my action. So I think I'm flowing instead of I'm flowing, and I'm trying easy instead of trying really, really hard and like really gripping and trying to control how this podcast goes in the future. So this is one area where I think I am able to surrender. But one area where I find surrender very hard is parenting. And even in parenting, I would say there are like some places where I'm able to let go of what my kids are doing and let go of attachment to their future, like their career, those sort of things. But there are some cases where I'm still confused, like, do I control them in this area, or do I let go? And then what I'm learning there is that I can have boundaries, but I can set them from a place of peace. And I think that will be a separate podcast episode in itself. So let me know if you would like me to talk about that, setting boundaries with kids and still practicing surrender in that. But yeah, this is what I wanted to say about being confused. And let me know how you have dealt with your confusion on your journey. Let me know something I can learn from you, because like I said, I still get confused and I still sometimes get frustrated, but overall I think I have made peace with confusion too now. And like I said, I treat confusion also as an emotion, which is going to come and go. And, I try to have patience. I try to do all these 3-4 things with my mindset to help me embrace that confusion as well. I would love to hear your thoughts. Please let me know. Thank you.